From a philosophical perspective, the first verse of the Bhagavad Gita is much deeper than a simple question about a battlefield. It introduces many of the central themes that unfold throughout the Gita. First point is attachment clouds judgment. The first word that reveals Dhritarashtra's mindset is mamaka, which means my sons. Instead of seeing everyone as members of one family, he divides them into my sons and the Pandavas. So, what is the lesson that we have learned? The attachment of mine and not mine creates division. So, the Gita later teaches that wisdom arises when we see all beings with fairness rather than possessiveness. Next is, the real battlefield is within us. Kurukshetra is an actual historical battlefield, but it also symbolizes the inner battlefield of every human being. Every person faces a struggle between dharma and adharma, selflessness and selfishness, wisdom and ignorance, courage and fear. Therefore, the Gita reminds us that life's greatest battles are often fought in our own minds and hearts. Next is, Dharma is the highest guide. Dhritarashtra says, Dharma kshetre Kurukshetra. The battlefield is also the field of Dharma. This suggests an important truth. Power alone cannot decide what is right. Wealth cannot decide what is right. Numbers cannot decide what is right. Dharma must decide what is right. Next point is, every action begins with a state of mind. The warriors had assembled Yuyutsava, desiring to fight. Before any action occurs, there is first an intention. Thus, the Gita repeatedly teaches that thoughts shape intentions, intentions shape actions, and actions shape character and destiny. Next is, blindness can be physical or moral. Dhritarashtra was physically blind, but the verse also points toward another kind of blindness. Attachment and partiality can prevent a person from seeing truth clearly. This is a universal lesson for everyone. Like for examples, a parent may ignore a child's wrongdoing. A leader may favor their own group. A person may justify their own mistakes while criticizing others. So the inner blindness is often more dangerous than the physical blindness. Next point is, the question, what happened, invites self-reflection. Dhritarashtra asks, Kima kurvata, which means, what did they do? On a deeper level, the Gita invites each of us to ask, what am I doing in my own life? Are my actions aligned with dharma? Am I acting from ego or from wisdom? So the Gita transforms an external question into an internal one. Last point is, every human life is a moral choice. Chapter 1 begins not with philosophy but with a difficult situation. The message is profound. Life does not wait until all confusion disappears. We must learn to choose dharma even in the midst of conflict, uncertainty, and emotional pain. The Gita begins with a question because spiritual growth begins with sincere inquiry. Seen this way, the very first verse is not merely an introduction to a war, it is an introduction to the human condition. It asks every reader to examine their own attachments, motives, and choices before embarking on the journey towards self-realization. These philosophical ideas become even more meaningful when we bring them into our everyday lives. Dhritarashtra's distinction between my sons and the Pandavas reminds us to examine our own mine versus others mentality. Within a family, we should try not to excuse one person's behavior simply because we are more attached to them. At work, people should ideally be judged according to their conduct, effort, and ability rather than personal relationships. And in society, we should be careful about automatically dividing people into our group and their group. Fairness strengthens relationships. Persistent favoritism often creates resentment and conflict. The word Dharma can also guide our everyday decisions. Before making an important choice, we can ask, is this honest? Is this fair? Am I fulfilling my responsibility? Could my decision unnecessarily harm someone? Instead of allowing emotion, convenience, ego, or personal gain alone to decide our actions, we can try to bring our values into the decision. The symbolism of Kurukshetra can help us recognize our daily inner battles as well. When anger arises, there may be a battle between anger and patience. When we are tempted to lie, there may be a battle between dishonesty and truth. When someone needs our help, there may be a battle between compassion and selfishness. When an important task feels difficult, there may be a battle between discipline and laziness. Winning these quiet inner battles can sometimes be more meaningful than winning an argument against another person. The word Yuyutsava also reminds us to examine our intentions. Before speaking or acting, we can ask, why am I doing this? Is my motive duty, kindness, or genuine concern? Or am I reacting from ego, jealousy, anger, or revenge? The same outward action can have very different meanings depending upon the intention behind it. Dhritarashtra's attachment gives us another practical lesson. Love should not require us to ignore truth. If someone close to us behaves wrongly, acknowledging that wrongdoing does not mean that we stop loving them. Similarly, when someone gives us constructive criticism, we can try to listen before immediately becoming defensive. And perhaps most importantly, we should develop the courage to recognize our own mistakes. The importance of sincere questions. The Bhagavad Gita begins with the question. The question must always be, what is in accordance with Dharma? Dharma in this context can be understood as righteousness, duty, justice, truth, responsibility, and the principles that sustain moral order. This does not mean that every difficult situation will have an easy answer. Often, understanding our dharma requires wisdom, reflection, and courage. And this is precisely the problem that Arjuna will eventually face. Later, much of the Gita's wisdom unfolds because Arjuna himself asks questions. There is something beautiful in this. Spiritual growth does not require us to pretend that we already know everything. Sometimes, wisdom begins when we sincerely ask, what is the right thing to do? What can this situation teach me? Where might my own judgment be clouded? How can I become better? A sincere question asked with humility and openness can become the beginning of transformation. A simple daily practice. At the end of the day, we can take a few quiet moments and ask ourselves, did I treat people fairly today? Did attachment or ego influence any of my decisions? Were my intentions sincere? Did my actions reflect my values? When I faced my own inner Kurukshetra, did I move toward Dharma or away from it? We may not always like the answers, but the purpose of self-reflection is not to condemn ourselves. It is to become more aware, learn from our actions, and make a better choice the next time. And perhaps this is one of the most beautiful ways to understand the opening verse of the Bhagavad Gita. It begins on an ancient battlefield, but its questions travel far beyond Kurukshetra. They enter our homes, our relationships, our workplaces, our decisions, and ultimately our own minds and hearts. The first verse, therefore, does more than introduce a war. It introduces us to the human condition. Attachment, division, intention, moral uncertainty, responsibility, and the constant need to distinguish dharma from adharma. Before Bhagwan Krishna begins guiding Arjun towards self realization, the Gita first invites us to look honestly within ourselves, to examine our attachments, to question our motives, to recognize our inner blindness, and to ask ourselves again and again, in the Kurukshetra of my own life, what am I choosing? And is my choice aligned with Dharma? In this way, an ancient question becomes a timeless invitation to live with greater fairness, self-awareness, wisdom, and integrity.
Your support truly encourages me to keep creating and sharing more content with you. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel.